Hello and welcome back to the sixth module on health financing. In this classroom, we will be talking about health insurance. What are the types of health insurance? What are the advantages of health insurance and what are its disadvantages with some examples. So what is health insurance? There are many definitions of health insurance depending on whether you're in the ILO or the WHO or the Labor Department. I will just share with you a simple explanation and definition of health insurance. Basically, it is about prepayment, it is about pooling, and it is about entitlement of health services. These are the three fundamental points for health insurance. That is, there is a prepayment, there is pooling, and then it is an entitlement. Unlike in tax-based where there is prepayment, there is pooling, but it's not an entitlement. Whereas in health insurance, it is an entitlement. In the next few slides, I will take you through the elements of health insurance. One of the most important element is the person or the community who's paying for the health insurance, paying the premiums. Usually in health insurance, we find that the community that pays a premium, that contributes, is the formal sector. There are exceptions where informal sector also provides, but invariably it is the formal sector. The next important element is the provider. These can be either public sector or private sector providers, and the providers depend on the type of services that are provided. The third element, which is an option, is the organization that manages the health insurance and takes the risk. Usually it is, in most countries, an insurance company, either for profit or not for profit, but in some places it can be the community, or sometimes even the provider can be the organizer of the health insurance. So the insurer may or may not be a separate entity, and again it depends on the type of health insurance. The fourth element is the premium. So community contributes a certain amount of money to the insurer, and this is called a premium. The insurer then reimburses the provider in a specific manner. It can be either on a fee for service basis, or it can be on a capitation basis, or it can be on a case-based DRG basis. And finally, we have the benefit package. The benefit package again can be, usually in our country, is for secondary care, for hospitalization services. Some states also cover in tertiary care through health insurance mechanisms. In many other countries, even outpatient care is covered through health insurance mechanisms. So depending upon the country and the capacity of the insurance and the insurers to manage, you can have different types of benefit packages. Usually when one talks of health insurance, one thinks of it as a single entity, but actually there are three or more different types of health insurance across the globe. I will talk about the three most common ones. The first is the social health insurance, the second is the private health insurance, and the third is the community health insurance. I will go into each one of these in a little more detail in the next few minutes. In social health insurance, the community is usually the formal sector, people who are working either in the industry or in offices or in the service sector like the police or the army, etc. Social health insurance is usually mandatory, where the premiums are deducted from the wages and collected into the insurance company. The benefit package is a very comprehensive package, usually ranging from primary to tertiary level of care. One very good example of social health insurance in our country is the ESIS, Employee State Insurance Scheme. Here, workers in the factories, in the restaurants, in shops who earn less than 25,000 per month have to contribute a certain amount of money, which is then deposited in the ESIC, that is the Employee State Insurance Corporation. In return, the patient, those who have enrolled can go to any of the ESIC facilities and get the treatment free of charge without having to pay any money. And the treatment package is, like I said, from primary healthcare all the way up to the most complicated cancer therapy, all will be given free of charge. Now, many Western European countries, especially countries like Germany, Belgium, Italy, France, are all financed mainly by social health insurance mechanism, where people who work in the formal sector, which is about 40 to 50% of the adult population, contribute a certain substantial amount of their wages towards a health insurance fund, and then the health insurance fund manages the providers and provides health services for the population, not just those who are employed, but also the entire population of these countries. One of the main advantages of social health insurance is that there is an assured sum of money allocated for health care. So every month a certain amount of money is sent to the health ministry for health services. The advantage of this is that the health minister can make long-term plans. Unlike in the tax-based health financing, where every year the health minister is unsure whether he will get the pot of money that he got last year, whether he will get it this year also. The second advantage is that there is equitable pooling, especially if you are collecting the money from a huge number of the formal sector. So those who are factory workers contribute a certain amount of their salary. Similarly, the CEO of that company also contributes a certain proportion of their salary. So it's an income rated, equitable contribution towards the health services. That was social health insurance. Now we come to private health insurance. In private health insurance, usually it is organized by the private for-profit health insurance companies, who then go around to the formal sector employees and ask them to join into their private health insurance schemes. These are voluntary insurance schemes where people pay according to their risk. So if a low risk person, for example a 30-year-old IT software engineer, he's a low risk because he has less chances of falling ill, he has to pay only a small amount of the premium, for example 2,000 rupees per person per year, whereas a high risk professional, high risk person, for example his manager who's 45 years old, has probably hypertension and diabetes, will have to cover and pay 10,000 rupees premium per individual per year. So those who need the cover more have to pay much more compared to those who do not need the insurance cover. So this is a relatively inequitable form of financing the health system. The classical example of private health insurance in our country is the Mediclaim policies of various general insurance companies. For example, if you take a policy, you have to pay a certain premium and you get a certain coverage, usually for hospitalization cover only. And every year you have to renew the premium depending upon whether you are employed or not and whether you are satisfied with your services. So usually what happens in our country is that those who are sick or anticipating illnesses are the ones who join this private health insurance, and so the premiums every year keep going up because the claims also keep on increasing because more of the sick are joining compared to more of the healthy. The third type of health insurance, which is not very prevalent, but still there is examples of it, especially in Africa and in India also in the 1990s and 2000, the previous decade, there were a lot of examples of community health insurance, which is usually organized by the community to take care of their healthcare needs and especially medical care needs. For example, in a remote tribal area in South India, the Adivasis would contribute every year 25 rupees per person, and this would be collected by the community and would be then used for the financing the healthcare needs of that population. There's no insurance company and it is directly managed by the community. Similar examples are there across the country. There's one big example of the Self-Employed Women's Association in Gujarat. There is another this thing of medical insurance scheme in Chhattisgarh. So like this, there are many examples, but this is slowly dying down now because of various government health insurance schemes for the poor which have been introduced recently. There are 3 or 4 generic problems with health insurance, whether it is social health insurance or private health insurance or community health insurance. One of the most important is adverse selection. Like I had mentioned earlier, usually, especially in voluntary private health insurance or community health insurance, the sick tend to join the health insurance scheme much more than the healthy, because they anticipate the illness, they anticipate the medical expenses. So then what happens is that you have a pool where there are more sick compared to healthy people. And so naturally the contribution is less, and then the claims are much more, and so then the scheme, the health insurance becomes unviable. The next problem with health insurance is moral hazard. Moral hazard is when just the fact that you are insured changes the behavior of either the insured or those associated with the insured. For example, the doctors may change their behavior and prescribe unnecessary diagnostics and medicines just because of their patient is insured compared to an uninsured patient. Similarly, the patient may say, oh, now that I'm insured and I've got a headache, the insured patient will demand MRI scan for that headache. Whereas if the person was not insured, they would not do so. So the change in behavior just because of the fact that you're insured is what is called moral hazard. So what are the strengths of health insurance? Main strength is that it is an entitlement. Once you take a health insurance, the insurance company is supposed to give you the benefit as per the contract. It's a legal document. And so this contributes towards our concept of health as a right. The second is, of course, like I said, there is prepayment and there is pooling, which increases to some extent the equitable nature of the health financing, much more in social health insurance, much less in private health insurance. Of course, health insurance is quite difficult to administer because you have to convince people that they have to pay a premium today when they are healthy for a potentially future ill health. Most people are reluctant to do it. Like in India, there are many cultural beliefs. People say, if I join a health insurance, I am telling God, listen, I'm going to fall sick, so I may fall sick in the next coming few months, so I don't want to join health insurance. Many people mistake health insurance with life insurance, where you contribute every year and then you get a lump sum saving at the end of the 10 years or 15 years. So they say, what will I get at the end of 10 years? And when we say, no, it is not like that, it is like vehicle insurance, then they are not interested in health insurance. So to conclude, we have talked about health insurance as a mechanism of health financing. It is quite popular in the developed nations, for example, Western Europe, many of the Latin American countries. It is still evolving in many of the low and middle income countries. It has advantages of prepayment and pooling, as well as it is entitlement, which contributes to health as a right movement. But it has a lot of disadvantages, so you need good capacity of the organizers to manage a health insurance program. Thank you very much for listening to me, and looking forward to meeting you again in classroom number 3.